if you want to catch on fire, do it after the meeting.
All right, very good. All right. With that, then, do we have everybody here?
Yes.
Gabby is, I don't see Gabby. Is Gabby here?
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, good. I just see the phone number. We gotta get you on a camera one of these times.
I know. Yeah, and I want to show up in person. I do this.
All right, good. So then I'll go ahead and call the planning commission meeting together for December 1st, our holiday edition. Here, Randy. All right, so with that, we'll start with the roll call.
Thank you, Chair Lane.
Oh, yes.
Commissioner Lamb, excuse me.
Yes.
Commissioner Lerner,
Yes.
Commissioner Narnsick,
Yes.
and Commissioner Conce.
Their program on the other one.
Thank you.
All right, with that, then we'll go to item number 2 with the public comment section. The public comment section is for items that are not on the agenda, where we hear from individuals who want to give us a heads up on something or give us feedback on something that's going on out there. So I'll go ahead and open up the public comment section for anyone that wants to speak. I don't see anyone coming forward. I think Ian's on here on the agenda item. So we'll go ahead and close the public comment section and bring it back to the commission for item number 3, which is the approval of minutes. I didn't see anything that needed to be changed. Anybody else have any comments on that?
No comments here.
All right, so I need a motion for the minutes.
I second that.
Yeah, there's no second yet. Gabby, so you approved the minutes as presented?
I approve the minutes. Yeah.
All right, very good. Nancy, you're a second.
Okay, I'll second.
All right, moved and seconded. Have a roll call, please.
Chair Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb,
Abstain.
Commissioner Lerner,
Yep.
Commissioner Narnsick,
Yes.
excuse me, Commissioner Conce.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, very good. That's where we need to be on that one. And so Perry, you abstained.
See you later, Commissioner.
All right.
Is that right?
Randy.
Randy did.
Oh, Randy abstained.
I
Okay,
wasn't
good. That's right. I thought I wanted to make sure.
I missed it.
I have more hair than Randy.
Yeah, I heard it.
There you
I heard
go.
it wrong. All right, so go ahead and then we'll go to item number 4, which is the public hearing section. And there's one item on there. And let me just explain how the process works that we've always used. And what we'll do on this item is we'll go ahead and open it up for the item, and staff will give us an overview of the item, and then we'll have questions of staff. And then at the end of that segment, we'll go ahead and bring it out to the public for comment, starting with the applicant, who looks like the only person in the audience today. And then we'll bring it back to the commission for discussion and action as appropriate. So with that, we'll start with item 4A, special structures permit for 278 Park Lane in Atherton. And we'll get the overview from Stephanie.
Thank you. Actually, Ralph will be presenting this item.
Oh, Ralph. All right. Oh man. He's going to ask for a raise, keeps doing this.
I'll support that. I'm not the one to give it though.
All right.
Okay,
Very good, Ralph.
This
Go
is being
for it.
recorded, so that's all. Well, thank you, Chair Lane, and thank you, commissioners. So the subject site is at 278 Park Lane. It's a 1.1 acre interior flag lot located in the R1A zoning district. The property contains an existing main residence, and if I may share my screen here. So you can see here pardon me. You can see here the existing condition of the property. So we have the main house. We have an existing detached garage that is connected by a breezeway, and in the rear we have an existing pool and pool house. The project calls to remove the pool house, the pool, then the existing garage, and construct a new detached garage in a similar location. Atherton Municipal Code Section 17.40.04A allows detached accessory buildings and structures located on flag lots to have the same front yard setback as the main residence upon the issuance of a special structures permit. So the applicant is requesting the proposed detached garage will have the same setback as the main residence, or 60 feet from the determined front property line designation. Otherwise, the front setback would require to be 120 feet from the front property line or 30 feet behind the front line of the main residence. So again, we have this existing 916 square foot detached garage that is actually located within the front setback currently has a front setback of 58 feet and 1 inches, so actually less than the required front setback for the residence, as well as an existing side setback of 9 feet 7 inches, which is less than the required 10-foot side setback for detached accessory structures. The proposed garage would have a slightly increased front setback of 61 feet 4 inches and 10 feet 10 inches on the sides. So with the granting of the special structures permit, it would conform to the required front setback as well as meet side and rear setback requirements. Now, the existing garage, as you can see here as well, also imposes on the TPC zones for 2 heritage trees. One is 17-inch oak on the applicant's property and the other a 42-inch redwood on the neighboring property. You can see those outlined in black here on the screen, and I can circle those if you need me to get in a little closer there. So the new construction of the garage would locate the garage at 8 times the TPZ for both the oak and the 42-inch redwood on the neighbor's property. That staff level TPZ request has been approved by Sally, who is also here on the call. And so Sally noted that while it not necessarily provide any direct benefit to the trees, it will provide a little more space for the trees. So to grant the special structures permit, there are 3 findings that need to be made. First, that will not negatively impact neighboring properties with respect to privacy and view. So we find with existing and proposed landscape screening and the setback distances of the proposed building itself, which will be increased from the existing building, will assist to screen these areas of new construction from neighboring properties and will not substantially impact neighboring properties with respect to privacy and view. I'll also note that public outreach was conducted in the form of notices sent out 10 days ahead of time to neighbors within 500 feet. We did not hear from the neighboring property that contains the 42-inch redwood, though the applicant Ian Muller is on the line to talk about their outreach and any feedback they've heard. The second finding is that the structure will conform with all their development standards, restrictions, or limitations. So I mentioned it's actually going to bring the structure in conformance with the required side setback. It meets the rear setback as well as the required setback from the main building. That'll also meet all of their standards for height for these such structures. And finally, the granting special structure is consistent with the objectives of the general plan in this title. So land use policy 1.5 requires land use to be designed in accordance with density, floor ratio, height, bulk, and other standards established by the town. The proposed front yard setback for the detached accessory building will meet the main residence front yard setback and complies with all other associated development standards as described previously. The life and safety code shall be applied and implemented as well. So pretty quick one for you today, but I'm available for questions, as is the applicant Ian Muller, and I'll leave my time back to you, Charlene.
This is Eric. I just wanted to ask you there, and there's no change to the driveway entrance or anything else on this, right? At the entry point, right? Only around the garage currently, right?
Correct. So no changes to the driveway. Now there will be additions to the main residence as well as some other accessory structures along this back patio, which will conform with all the other required setback requirements.
All right, great. Any other questions?
I have no question.
Not for me.
All right, great. Randy, you want to leave that on while we hear from the applicant?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I said not for me. I'm good with it. I'm good with the way it's been proposed.
All right, great. All right, so with that, then I'll go ahead and no more questions for staff. I'll go ahead and open the public comment section. And Ian, I guess you're representing the applicant, or
Yes, I am. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm the architect, the agent for the owners. And
just for the record, just go ahead and say your name, just make sure we.
Ian Muller.
Yeah, thank you.
Muller Architecture.
Right.
And thank you, Ralph. It was very concise. Yeah, this is an unusual circumstance where an applicant or the owner or client wants to actually reduce a footprint for a building that's there. Change a existing 3-car garage to a single car. They're getting older, have just one vehicle, and change the sort of orientation of the garage so that it doesn't have such a skewed angle to the structure. And so they do that, the footprint shrinks, and as Ralph outlined, work to get everything to comply with all the requisite zoning ordinances. So it's complies in all regards. It's just a smaller building. So it's heading towards a more discrete sort of development. And that's the long and the short of it. It's small little construction project.
All right, any questions?
Not for me.
Not
All
for
right.
me.
All right, great. Then we'll go ahead and I don't see anybody else to talk, so I'll go ahead and close the public comment section and bring it back to the commission for discussion and action as appropriate. Went to property and it's just a very secluded entrance and nothing's going to impact anybody in the area. And maybe a tree will get saved as the process of the reduction of footprint. I didn't see anything there at all.
That would be a good thing.
Anyone else?
No, this is Randy. Good job on staff, but also on the architect to create what they have. I'm happy to make the motion and once everybody's there, but I support it. It's good.
Good. All right. No more comments? Go ahead, Randy. You can make your motion.
Okay, I move the planning commission approve the special structures permit to allow a detached accessory building garage to have the same front yard setback as the main residence at 278 Park Lane, based on the findings and for the reasons enumerated in the staff report, subject to the conditions listed in the special structures permit certificate.
Moved. And is there a second?
I will second.
Barry seconds. All right, roll call, please.
Chair Lane, excuse me, Chair Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yes.
Commissioner Lerner,
Yes.
Commissioner Narnsick,
Yes.
Commissioner Conce.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Ian, thank you for showing up and have a great holiday. Unwrap your packages slowly and they last longer that way.
All right, enjoy your jacket. That's special.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think I'll go jogging in this. I don't think I'll have any
Good holiday attire. Well done.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.
bye-bye.
Next item is item 6, staff reports. Stephanie or Ralph, you got anything for us?
Yes, through the chair, actually, if we could jump back to item 4A, please, which is one new business item, very minor, but
Oh, yeah, there's thank you. Thank you. Let's go. There's one more 4A is the approval of the planning commission meeting. So I'll go back to 4A planning. And by the way, I can only vote on half of this because I'll only be there through June. So I don't know if half a vote will put us over the edge or not, but item 4A, we need a motion to accept the planning commission meeting schedule.
I move that.
I'll move. This is Randy. I'll move it.
All right.
Or
All right.
either one.
All right, Perry, your motion and Randy, your second. All right, have a roll call, please. Yes, roll
Thank
call,
you.
please.
Chair Lane,
Yes, for half of it.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yes.
Commissioner Lerner,
Yes.
Commissioner Narnsick,
Yes.
Commissioner Conce.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, with that, we'll go to item number 6. Thanks for managing the meeting for me, Stephanie. I appreciate that. You did it very smoothly too. Randy would have just kicked me or hit me in the ribs if we'd been live. All right.
Oh, I couldn't figure out if you were having a senior moment. You couldn't
No,
find your way
no,
onto
I
the
wasn't.
planning commission thing. I'm like, everybody's like, geez, he's finally lost it.
No, I looked at this and I was first elected on August 26th, 2015 to the chair, and I know you'll be glad to know that no one on the current planning commission nominated me or seconded. So it's not your fault. All
I
right.
just had to inherit you. So we didn't get a choice. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's right. Staff reports then, Stephanie or Ralph.
Sure. Yes. So for those commissioners who haven't driven by, the new town permit center is now open to the public. So that's quite exciting. We have moved in and are operating out of the second floor. Planning, building department, and Department of Public Works. We're all in on one side of the second floor. Can't miss us. And you should have received an email. And if you didn't, let me know and I'll forward it on to you right now. There will be a town ribbon cutting ceremony on December 11th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the new permit center. So if you haven't come to check out the new building, this is a great opportunity to do so. They are requesting everybody complete a COVID screening form in advance, which is part of the email. I'll go ahead and resend it. Apologies if it's duplicated for some of you, but I'll send it to you right now.
Right, and I did receive that, and I actually picked up my packet this week at the new lobby and everything. It's very nice. You got to watch out for the trucks when you pull into the parking lot, but other than that, it's really nice.
Yeah, the parking is still a little quirky. There's still work being done, so they're like shifting where parking spaces are available for staff, and the public should be able to park right in front unless there's a lot. So hopefully that'll get more cleared out by December 11th.
Yeah, I just had to drive around the UPS truck and the dump truck and the cement mixer, but other than that, it's straightforward. All right, and also, you want to give us a quick overview of what we can expect on this the follow-up on the SB9 in terms of our work on it and the timing of that, because everything starts on the 1st. So why don't you give us a quick overview of what you would anticipate?
So I anticipate a formal amendment to an ordinance or ordinances being brought forward to the Planning Commission in January for a recommendation to the City Council, as is required with any legislative land use change. The Planning Commission is the formal recommending body to the City Council, who ultimately would be the final decision maker. So that will definitely have that on your January agenda. I haven't heard of any request for a special meeting to bump that closer than the what's our date in January, the 26th that you just approved, the 26th of January. Should that change from now in the next few weeks, I'll certainly will give everybody a heads up, and well, before giving you a heads up, would likely be taking taking a poll to make sure that we have a quorum in order to conduct such a meeting.
All right, great. So, so far, just from a procedural standpoint, how would it work if somebody applied in the interim? Would you move it ahead to us while we're trying to come up with the regulations telling them that we're forming them? So we'll go ahead and process them. I don't want anybody to feel like we're slowing them down.
Well, I don't know what the Planning Commission would process. So if somebody got ahead of an ordinance being adopted and becoming effective, then my understanding is that what the town would need to do is default to the basic provisions of state law, similar to like the ADU ordinance.
Right.
We had kind of the cart was behind the horse, or whichever way you describe it. If there's no local ordinance that meets the minimum requirements, then it just punts back to the minimum state mandate.
All right, so all I'll say on that is that if that looks like there's an application coming, then that would be, in my mind, the key reason for a special meeting. So,
And we've done that before.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
trying to remember when we did that. I know we did.
But we've done that before.
Yeah.
So just listen, I brought that up for alert to everyone in terms of the possibility of why it will be so important.
Yeah, I had a question
Gabby,
regarding that.
Yeah, Gabby, go ahead.
Gabby at Sunset. So this date, is this a fixed date? Is that mandated by the state, or it's quite unclear to me as in terms of even with the discussion with the city attorney. What is the foundation of the law? How does that either merge with our own pre-existing ordinances? Has there been some? I mean, I was a little bit, I have to say, off the record, or on the record, whatever, recorded. I was quite amazed that she had no arguments to make that this might be an emergency, is that we can just sort of, just like Los Altos Hills, let's try to look at the laws. Let's try to apply them, what's being mandated to what's being required. This is a monumental movement for Atherton. This is very confusing.
The laws.
And Redwood City, I've lived close to Redwood City, where they have townhouses, multiple, got 6 cars in the parking lot. Atherton is a countryside village, sort of similar to Los Altos Hills. But I was just surprised that she would not even proceed to make just an interrogatory, just like say an elementary argument to say, there might be an emergency use. We have to figure this out.
Well,
I'm confused
there's
myself
there's
about
two there's a couple layers of this. First of all, the law is passed, and it's implemented
Yeah.
on January 1st. So so if a developer or a landowner, let's put it that way, a landowner were to come in and say, okay, it's January 2nd, and I get to propose this, you can't stop it. Without any kind of regulation at all, we don't have a process to even tell them. So and under all conditions, we're going to need something, even while the legal side of this, in terms of emergency and everything else, is processed. So in my mind, what we're trying to do is get a framework that we have a construct for talking to an applicant about how to do this. Yeah, and that's our responsibility. Now, between this,
so we're sort of being we're being proactive, but again, with developers, with people that want to put townhouses on our property, on our forefront, they have the upper hand. And I think what would have been better, in my opinion, humbly saying, it would have been better to put maybe an emergency that we could actually analyze this and go through some legal frameworks, expecting, like to your point, questions. Hey, listen, I want to build a townhouse next to your house. How will that work?
Right.
And there's just like basically this is just open business, and we can provide a framework, but we can't legally enforce it if somebody, like you said, if SB 9 is already enforced January 1st. How are we going to either approve or not approve different projects?
Yeah, well, that goes back to the role of the planning commission versus the role of the city council. So the role of the planning commission is to either make a recommendation to city council or act on the direction of the city council's ordinances or their direction. So the city council is in the role of listening to the lawyer's recommendations, making a decision about what the process will be, and actually saying, that's not the way you want to do for the town. It didn't sound to me in that meeting, from the whole section of it, that is the way the city council wanted to go. Oh
no, she's in the minority. She's Los Altos Hills. The other attorneys have said, listen, we're going to give us some more time to apply the laws and try to see how that will be applicable. She said, at least as an attorney, what I interpreted was that she said, absolutely not. There's no argument to be made. There's not a fire safety hazard, nothing. And I said, there might be some arguments to be made.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's try to make the argument.
But she's making that to the city council, not to the planning commission. Right. That's the difference.
Not us.
If we were on the city council, we'd be in a position to say, wait a minute, that's not the way we want to go. As a planning commission, we can talk to individual city council people to say, this is something that, and we all we have for the last 2 years. This process is, 2 or 3 years ago when this all sort of showed up. We were all saying, and we've actually had some situations where we said, this is not the way to run a railroad. But about that time, the train came through our track. And so it goes back to, we've made our case as a planning commission. The city council is going to take a direction on it, taking the recommendation of the city council, the city legal counsel or not. And then, but our role as of January 1st is, if somebody comes into Stephanie and says, I want to build this, she doesn't have a recourse other than say, okay. She can come up, she can analyze it in the sense of, well, given our current ordinances, we need to take it to the planning commission because of an impact on the tree or something else, and we have to evaluate how that works. So she only has a framework of the existing. So what we have to do is come up with a framework that we can believe is the best we can do until the city council goes to that next step, if they're going to.
Well, I think some of my arguments fell on deaf ears, but I've never seen somebody that's the city council or city attorney for Atherton, vis-a-vis also with Los Altos Hills and Woodside. We should all check our notes. They know the laws. and to give us more time to decide this implementation of this law.
Yeah, there's
I'm
no
very
guarantee,
surprised that,
there's no guarantee that those towns are going to get more
Yeah.
time. It's a guarantee that they're probably going to go to court.
Yep.
Just because they make that.
that's true, but most cities of prominence, we're the #1 zip code in the country, most expensive zip code. You think we would make a cogent argument to try to, and this is not about, not that we don't want to add more housing. This is about possibly constitutionality issue, meaning that people, they're splitting lots. That's against the town charter, 1 acre of Atherton. Where I'm coming from, but we're basically being overrided. I was very surprised by the tenor of the attorney's comments, because she should have at least given us like a counter argument. Say, if this is a weaker argument, we'll do that. No. We can't even make an argument. There should be a state of emergency, just like the same thing that the Los Altos Hills attorney did.
Well,
We're trying to maintain our rural place, and we're trying to reduce crime, theft, break-ins, also over water usage. And I also mentioned the issue about evictions. Evicting somebody from a granny flat's pretty difficult.
Yeah, I think what you're combining the last 2.5 years of comments that we've had on the planning commission and the city council, and to our representatives.
Yeah.
And you're coming into it right now after. I mean, it was amazing to me when I heard about this 2.5 years ago or 3 years ago as an idea that might actually get traction, and then it got traction,
Right.
and then it got approved. So, it's not good planning in my mind, but it is a directive. So I'm hoping the city council takes the right approach, and then we'll just make sure we do our job.
Well, one of the city council members mentioned it. It's very aberrant. It could be next door to you. Somebody could build a townhouse. Thankfully, I'm very grateful. People have mushroom, beautiful houses next to our lot off Stockbridge. So I'm happy to do that. But somebody could build a townhouse, have, multiple parking, multiple tenants. This is not the plan of Atherton.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why I was.
This is why we live in Atherton.
That's one of the reasons I was bringing up the idea of coming up with the model that we prefer in the town. So if 80 ADUs is the way to go, then let's do it. So,
okay, yeah, agreed. Yeah, thank you for walking me through that. I appreciate the history on your help with this.
Yeah, it's the most. I've been on 3 different planning commissions over the last 30 years, and I've never seen anything approved to generate this bad of planning ever in the 30 years. So it's pretty amazing. So I
call this quite radical and quite, I say, inappropriate.
Well, we'll see where it goes. All right. Stephanie, I didn't want to take you off any of your presentation, but did you have anything more in the staff report?
I did not, and I just wanted to make note, apologies, for some reason, when we set up the Zoom meeting, it went under the basic version versus our paid subscription version, which means we have a limited time, and a timer has popped up, at least on my end, that this meeting will shut down in, well, 1 minute and 49 seconds and ticking.
Oh, darn.
I move.
Right. I gotta wrap packages with some.
I didn't want an abrupt, rude ending, so I just want to make it.
No worries.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Oh my God.
I better go quick and not fold under the pressure.
All right.
Chair
Yes.
Lane, yes. Commissioner Lamb,
Yes.
Commissioner Lerner,
Yes.
Commissioner Narnsick,
Yes.
and Commissioner Conce.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Have a happy holiday and a great new year, and we'll talk to you next year.
Yes, we will.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy holidays,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Have a good
See
one.
you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Be
This
well.
jacket is
Thank
for
you.
rent if anybody
Appreciate
wants it, by the way. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.